Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Frozen Oil. Once again, it's Rich.
What's up, everyone? I'm Wayne.
Wayne's back in the house. Wayne, how was Vancouver?
It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, it was nice to see you're keeping everybody, making sure they kept their end of the bargain there.
They weren't getting away with belching on that bet, and I confirmed that they did. And I give them props. Let's give them credit for that.
So today we have a great episode in store for you guys. I just want to start off first with a little story. I was watching the game. Obviously with you yesterday, and then a friend of ours, I don't know him personally that well, so I did want to give a shout out to him, but it just kind of threw me back a little bit when he brought it up. I had no idea he was watching the channel, and he approached me, and he just told me he loved what he was seeing, and it was just really cool. I've never been in a situation like that before, and he told me he loved what we were doing, and he loved the content and loved what we were talking about, and it was just really inspiring. So shout out to Hassan if you're watching. That was really cool, and it motivated me even more to keep going with this.
You made Richie feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, big time.
So good job. So
that was awesome. Now we're gonna get to the Oilers here. The Edmonton Oilers defeat the Dallas Stars, game 4, monumental giant game, 5-2. And before we get to the scoring summary, we just wanted to talk about feelings after game 3. Before you say what you have to say, I told everybody in the game 3 recap, the nervousness, the feelings of doubt, oh my God, is it over? I mean, I just haven't been feeling them this entire playoffs. I feel the boys can bounce back, and they bounced back again.
They did, and if you want to talk about feelings after game 3, part of the reason why my voice is gone is I'm yelling at the TV, I'm screaming. I don't know how much more of this I can take, by the way, but I'm sure like many of you out there, we got to stick together and keep it positive so we can kind of push through this, because God knows I don't know what this is doing to our health, but hopefully at the end there's a reward. There's a reward for all this sacrifice we're making. But yeah, after game 3, I wanted to jump off a ledge. I don't know about you. You were talking me down, so obviously you were fine. But
we're not going to get into that conversation. But
yeah, no, I'd
save that conversation for another day.
I was a little worried. I ain't gonna lie. I was really worried actually, and especially because how we lost game 2 as well. So I was really worried after game 3. I wanted to see a bounce back, and after the first period, I didn't see that bounce back last night. So thank God, McLeod starts us off, scores that first goal, and then things started rolling from there. So let's get into the summary, and we'll talk about our feelings. Or do you have some feelings to share?
I'm not gonna. When you say talk yourself off a ledge, I mean, Wayner was distraught to say the least after the loss, after the game 3 loss. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna stay positive. We're gonna keep the faith in the boys, and together, all of us, we're gonna march united, hopefully, to that final goal, Lord Stanley. So we're gonna get into the scoring summary right now. Before we get into the first goal by Wyatt Johnson, let's talk about our coach, Knoblauch, making those changes before game 4.
The stones on that guy, to do the changes that he did, to make those changes that we saw before game 4. I don't know if anyone would have ever, if you asked me, is he going to go that drastic? Even after that game 3 loss, I would have told you there's no chance he's moving it as much as he moved it. But it was like earthquake shattering lineup changes, and this guy is nailing. Everything he touches is gold. So he's turning into gold. So good for him.
Very bold move by Coach Knoblauch.
The whole coaching staff, excellent job.
Everyone, including myself, was questioning those moves because of how bold they were. What were those moves specifically? They brought in Corey Perry. They brought in
Ryan McLeod.
Not
Not only did he bring him in, they put some on the second
on the
line with
second line.
Draisaitl. So he's taking Kane and Holloway off that line to move those guys up. Like,
and he also brings in Broberg, essentially, a very young player. He's our future defensively, young stud, early draft pick for the Oilers, and just crazy changes. So let's get into the scoring summary right away. Wyatt Johnson, at the 58 seconds into the game, makes it a 1-0 game for the Stars. First shot on goal again. That's the third one in this playoff so far this year that the first shot on goal has gone in. Backbreaking. As a fan watching, again, I mean...
What are you thinking after that?
Yeah, well, I was
back on the left.
I was hyperventilating myself, and I'm thinking this I can't be seeing this. This can't be happening, but it was happening. And to make matters worse, at the 5:29 mark, Esa Lindell scores to make it 2-0 Dallas. So basically, 5 minutes into the first period, this is a big bounce back game for the Oilers. Major moves made. The Oilers are down 2-0. 5 minutes into the game.
Absolutely. So my fear after game 3 was it wasn't being helped by the start that the Oilers had yesterday. And then how about the air that got let out of that building after that 2-0 goal?
Yeah, they took the crowd.
Everyone who paid thousands, if not high hundreds of dollars to get into that building to watch that game and to be down 2-0 real quick.
And don't forget, the game before at home, they lost, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, you don't want to let down the hometown crowd, but everyone knows how this ended, and no one was let down for sure. And then the story begins. 13:30, Ryan McLeod,
thank you,
comes out of the press box, lots of pressure on him, and he takes errant puck in front of the net and has the patience somehow to roof it.
Put that upstairs.
Yeah, and no chance of it deflecting off something and not going in. He put that puck home. The game is now 2-1. And I just wanted to touch, because Draisaitl didn't get an assist for this, but that puck wouldn't have even got out of our zone had Draisaitl not done a crazy move to get that puck within the Oilers zone to get it out to Nurse, who got it to Perry, who gets it to McLeod. So Draisaitl with the phantom assist there for sure. He didn't get credit for it, but he had an unbelievable game too.
Beast. When we needed it the most.
And then moving on, 2-on-1 develops, and you got McDavid. I watched this goal in slow motion on the replay. Just his stride and his head up, it just looks like McDavid is back, and he takes a shot, which
it's kind of like a pass. It was a pass shot.
Everyone that watches hockey and knows McDavid's skill level knows he's aiming for his pad for the rebound, and it goes right to the I can't believe I'm saying this, but Evan Bouchard right now, the way he's playing, I mean,
a young Paul Coffey.
Oh my God, I can't even say the words. I mean, his performance so far in this playoffs. I mean, is he a candidate for the
Conn Smythe?
For the Conn Smythe?
Of course he is. Why wouldn't he?
You have to.
I mean, he's not ahead of Draisaitl in my opinion right now. But I mean,
but the fact that he's even in the conversation,
absolutely,
is amazing. So Evan Bouchard ties the game up, makes it 2-2, and then we get on to the second period. Everybody knows it's huge, and what happens? The Oilers get a penalty. Derek Ryan gets a holding penalty on Matt Duchene. 2-2 game. Huge penalty kill. You want this penalty kill to keep going, but I mean, you're also worried because at some point you're not going to continue to have 100% penalty kill. Knock on wood. It's been going so far, and the one time where we need this thing to keep going, Mattias Janmark flies in. Connor Brown, again, I've mentioned it so many times. It's not just the star players, it's your fourth liners that are really, really setting the difference, setting the tone. Brown is, again, he's a man possessed. Just if you watch him skate, the way he's skating, it's crazy. and he makes an unbelievable assist to Janmark.
He put it on a tee for him. Janmark just has
the saucer pass again. When you see the highlight in slow motion, it's beautiful to see. And Janmark makes no mistake, and the Oilers take a 3-2 lead. Shorthanded goal, massive,
huge. Obviously huge. Janmark puts it upstairs. Excellent pass, like you said. Great penalty kill to start that rush, and then the building's on fire.
The building's back. The crowd's into it. The Oilers got the momentum. About a minute after that, with the momentum, McDavid makes a nice pass to Hyman, who gets it over to Draisaitl, and he makes no mistake, and he goes blocker side, I believe, on Onger, and he gives the Oilers that insurance goal early, with 5 minutes left in the second period. So
did you see the look of Draisaitl's eyes after he scored that goal? Puts his stick up, and he's kind of like, a man possessed.
Yeah, I mean,
he was a man possessed last night.
I want to relate that look to a comic book character, and it's Wolverine. Leon Draisaitl he's just savage. He's just a savage. He's so dialed in, and
beast last night. I guess.
Beast. So after Draisaitl's goal, we head to the third period. And we are again thinking the worst, hoping the Oilers hold on to this lead. And like I've mentioned so many times before on this channel, it's just a matter of time. The Oilers can keep going. They have so many weapons. If they just stay in the hunt, eventually you're not going to keep losing these games late in the period. Eventually you're going to shut the other team down and seal the victory. So
I love that they kept playing too. It wasn't like, let's sit back and defend the lead. That's when we've gotten into trouble before. We're not built that way. We're built to attack, and we have the players to do it. Thankfully, they kept doing that, and then obviously, Dallas wasn't able to generate and do anything really.
And our Stranger Things coach. Dr. Martin Brenner mentioned that in one of his press conferences. He mentioned that the Oilers got to keep their foot on the gas, and that's what this Oiler team is. Like, this Oiler team is an offensive juggernaut, and when you have an offense like the Oilers, you can't sit back and play the trap and hope that we lost a 3-goal lead. We saw a 3-goal lead disappear against Vancouver. So Matthias Ekholm scores the empty netter. Final score 5-2. The Oilers close it out, and this series is tied 2-2. So just a couple of notes that we have for today's episode. One thing I wanted to talk about is Kevin Bieksa.
What a stud. What a stud.
So Kevin Bieksa, and when he first came on Hockey Night in Canada, there wasn't too many people that I know anyways that said, this guy, he's not that good or whatever. Like, he's actually, his comments are very wise, coming from his perspective, being a defenseman. He knows his stuff. But the comments that he made yesterday, they took him from being, great to being a stud, because he seems like a diehard Oiler fan to me right now watching this guy. So we're going to take a look at this.
I don't think he is, but
we're going to take a look at this first clip. So this clip here, Ron MacLean has an Oiler jersey in his hand, and he tries to put it on the floor here. And just watch what Kevin Bieksa says to him here.
Running shoes. So that's the idea. Fast tonight. Can't just roll. Drop that, David and Elliott. That's a fine. On the floor. Hanging over the head. I'll just hold it.
So as you can see from that clip, Kevin Bieksa is honoring the logo of the Edmonton Oilers and basically telling Ron MacLean, you don't do that. You don't put the Oilers jersey on the floor, just like you wouldn't put the flag of your country on the floor. You're not going to do that. And I just thought that was awesome. I just thought that was awesome.
To be fair, I think he would have done that for any jersey.
So it wasn't only the comment about putting the jersey on the floor that caught my eye about Bieksa. The second thing that caught my eye was his comment about the Edmonton media. So we're going to take a look at this clip right now and just listen to what Bieksa has to say.
Darnell Nurse, you think about his day, his morning. He gets to the rink and he has to meet with the Edmonton meat. That's what I call the media, because they're raw, dead, and dumb. And he has to answer questions about his play.
So as you can see from that clip, Bieksa calls out the Edmonton media and calls them meat instead of media, and he referred to them as that because they're raw, dead, and dumb. Now he's obviously referring to, in my opinion, two select guys that they are constantly spewing negativity, and they think they're, in this higher class of, human being, and they're not. And basically, Bieksa, again, he has the kahunas to call these guys out on live TV. And again, if you're going to do that, again, in my books, especially for Oiler fans, I mean, that was a stud move. So I think you wanted to touch a little bit more on that.
Absolutely. Let's look, Edmonton media, absolutely. You have a right to make your comments, say what you want to say, talk about Nurse and how bad he's playing, his contract situation. We all know. But let's try and keep it a little more positive. Nurse, look, if Nurse was making $6 million, no one had a problem with him. I think it's just it's contract, right? If he was a 4-5 defenseman or 3-4 defenseman making, like I said, $5 to $6 million, and he's playing 22 minutes a night, giving it all, everybody would love him in this city. It's just that he's making over $9 million. That's the problem. So if that was the case, and media, you want to talk about that, fair game, no problem. To harp and to keep harping on a guy and harping on this team, no problem. Just as long as, hey, you're giving it the other way too when they played well. Last night, Nurse bounced back. He had a great game. I don't know. What would you think about Nurse's game last night?
Well,
he started off, the one hit him and it kind of went.
That
was a tough start.
I mentioned this as well on another episode. So this isn't like a phone call where I could say, hey, Wayne, do you remember when I mentioned this and you forget? Like, you can look back and check. Like, Darnell Nurse, he's been, like I said, after that Carolina game where he took that puck to the face, Darnell Nurse's game has stepped up dramatically. Maybe he's not worth 9.25, but he's definitely not playing like 4 or 5. So if Darnell Nurse can play in that 6-7 million range, whatever, you can get that bonus for being on the Oilers for, over a decade. He's obviously tight with all the players. That means a lot. He's big in the locker room, and McDavid mentions it all the time.
Look how many players came to his defense after he took the heat that he took after Game 3. Look at that. McDavid said he was going to bounce back, have a great game. Brown, after last night's win, made a point to start off his media scrum by saying, how about Nurse? And that's leadership and that's character. So
and some of the shots that were thrown out by the media really didn't focus too much on his salary, but I think what you mean is that's where these comments come from. They were focusing on the fact that Darnell Nurse throughout these playoffs so far, not including yesterday, so prior to Game 4, Darnell Nurse was a -12. And a lot of people, say the plus-minus stat isn't too much, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, it's not good, but you can contribute in other ways. For example, Connor Brown, he he had a very low production season as per what his expectations were. Yeah. But the reason he stuck on the team was he was...
For nights like last night.
He was constantly positive. He's helping the boys off the ice, not just on the ice. And the same thing can be said about Darnell Nurse. Like, when you have somebody on your team, Wayner, and, you're respected, you're loved, and, sometimes the value to that, you can't really put a value on that, because how are you going to scale that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I go by what the other players are saying about their teammates. Now, obviously, you're always going to stick up for your teammates, blah, blah, blah. But you can tell that Darnell Nurse is a fixture in that room, and he's well-liked by his teammates. So if that's good enough for the players, that should be good enough for us, as long as he's holding up his end of the bargain most nights, and I think we can all say that this year he definitely is. Is he going to have a bad game here or there? Absolutely. I mean, he's playing 20-something minutes a night, and sometimes against the other team's best players. It's not easy to do and not make mistakes, right? Did he deserve some heat after Game 3? Yeah, absolutely he did. He didn't deserve the heat that he got. Stepped up big time in Game 4, so let's give him credit for that now. So
just one more note we wanted to touch on, and this, unfortunately, it's because of an injury, but from the Oilers' perspective, this could be huge for the Oilers. Tanev was seen walking in a boot. He took a shot.
This morning,
yeah, he took a shot. I believe it was Evander Kane took a shot, hit him on the outside of the ankle. And I mean, how do you feel about Dallas's defense if their big trade deadline acquisition is out?
Well, obviously it's a huge loss for them. It's by default it's a big plus for us. And you never want to see guys go down to injury. So obviously we wish you the best of luck and health, but maybe just if you can wait a couple games, that'd be great. But that's a big piece to their defense. If they're going without Tanev, I mean, you could see even last night when he exited the game, like there's still a little bit more room out there. So
yeah, that's a devastating loss, especially because Heiskanen is more of an offensive defenseman, and the minutes that Tanev puts in, the grit. I mean, if this guy is out for Game 5, 6. If it goes to 7, whatever the case is, I mean, this is a huge loss for the Stars, and again, like you said, you don't want to see someone's fortunes on the basis of someone's misfortunes, but I mean, at the end of the day, that to me, that just increases the Oilers' chances of getting through this series dramatically.
Of course it would.
So that brings us to our favorite part of the episode, which is after every Oilers playoff win, we'll give you the stud of the night. And you want me to go first on this one?
Sure, you go first.
Awesome. Okay, well, my stud of the night for Game 4 is, without a doubt, Mattias Janmark.
Yeah.
Mattias Janmark, I've been talking about this guy. I mentioned prior that he was a big part of the Vegas Golden Knights' playoff success before we acquired him. This guy's a playoff performer. I don't know if you've seen his face after he scored that shorthanded goal. This guy is a stud. He's a warrior, and he gets that shorthanded goal. He also made a gigantic stop in the third period when the Dallas Stars got a power play. He just completely stopped their rush coming in. It just killed the momentum of their power play, and the power play just kind of fizzled out for the Stars. So again, not just his offensive abilities, his defensive abilities are massive. So
yeah, well,
Mattias Janmark, you're my stud of the night, buddy.
Yeah, we're all seeing what he can do, obviously, on the penalty kill, and that was the game-winning goal essentially yesterday, where he roofed it. So good pick.
How about you, Wayner?
I'm gonna go a little bit different here, and I think it's well warranted.
I'm excited for this one.
Are you? I think my stud of the night tonight, it's going to Chris Knoblauch.
Wow.
Chris Knoblauch, and you could throw on the rest of the coaching staff as well, but I still can't get over the guts, the balls, the cojones, the stones, whatever you want to say, to make those lineup changes to start this game when we all know we needed this game. Like if we go down 3-1 going back to Dallas, we're done. I think most people would agree we would be done. Obviously miracles can happen, blah blah blah, but to make those changes in a do or die game and the bold moves to put some of those guys up higher in the lineup when they were sitting, I thought none of this, like when you show your players faith like that, when they want to reward you, when you give them a chance to kind of say, hey, let me see what you can do in a big spot, they want to reward you for doing that. So I don't think this game happens without Knoblauch's changes, and he definitely deserves recognition for that. So that's why he's my stud of the night.
Wow, going with the coach. Good
Going
job.
with the coach. Going
Changing
with the
it up.
coach. And look at the changes he's made so far throughout these playoffs. Like I've never seen anything like this.
I'm telling you, he has the respect of every single person in that room, and so far to this point, he's got the respect of the fans as well. I can firmly say that. So great pick, and hopefully continued success to both Janmark and Knoblauch. So that brings us to the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We'd really appreciate it.
What the hell are you waiting for?
And most importantly,
Go Oilers, go!